Okay, we're live. I'm just going to wait to do the audio check. I do my lazy ass way of seeing what comes through my speakers. You know. Check. I do my lazy loud as hell. So there we go. Welcome to the show, everyone. Friday Fandemonium with your host, the Crown Prince of Fandemania, and my second guest to the show, and my third live stream guest ever, Jacob Ironside. I have a link to his channel below. We do a lot of cool stuff on his channel, talking about old movies and whatnot, and some other related items, which you'll hear us chit chatting about during the show. As we get into it. The topic or agendas for this episode are quite a few unboxings. If you see the pile, I'm tapping on my left here. And then I have a couple articles, and maybe we'll do the one or two random articles at the end. And I'm sure Jacob has one or two things he wants to bring up that's pretty cool. And so that's generally speaking the topic. So we'll wait a minute or two to see who else pops into the chat, and I will also begin the anti-doxing technology on so I don't dox myself live anymore when I unbox. It's always a good thing, right? I'll get the big tape and the little tape. Advanced anti-doxing technology.
Gotta have that. Gotta have it. Hey there, Dipsy.
Oh, hey Dempsey, welcome to the chat. Man, this Gorilla Tape is so sticky.
Yeah,
that's this stuff.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm old and have arthritis, but damn. Okay, one down. We're going to do the big box first so I can get out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, there's something I want to do related to that anyway, if what's in there is what I think is in that box. Second anti-doxing. Okay, we got Dempsey, so no one else. So since we're about 6 minutes in, as soon as I finish protecting my identity, right? Not so much my identity because I'm well. I mean, my name is Matthew Marino. I don't hide that, right? And I know how the internet works. I know just by virtue of you seeing me here, I could trace me and find who I am. But I don't. We don't need to put my address out there so any internet can figure it out. Okay. Did you watch Shogun yet, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of watching it. It's good. I'm enjoying it.
How far along are you?
Maybe a little over halfway.
Did you see the original adaptation or read the book?
Yes, I did. I saw the original movie or TV show.
Okay, so you know what? Well, after we get something unboxing, maybe we can chit chat about that as far as you are along in it and whatnot. Okay, so first box in. Four people. So whoever else just joined the live stream is welcome. Okay. One box. So in this box, here's the first item you will find very interesting, Jacob. We talked about on your stream. This is Sergeant York's autobiography, his diary, basically. Let me put it big so people could see. How do we make? Oh, I'll click to me, and this is here. It's on sale on Amazon, like 20% off. So if people are interested, there we go.
Cool.
And you even see his handwriting in there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it actually has his letters and stuff.
Yeah. Basically, well, I'm looking at chapter. Yeah. I mean, I don't have all his handwriting, but they'll show samples of it as like a graphic. You know what I mean? I'm betting his original diary is like sealed in like Mylar somewhere. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, definitely.
so let's put this to the side. Well, because that actually be useful as a reference for something else later. Now, here's something I found this totally by accident. I'm always looking for good horror graphic novels. I can't quite show. Oh yeah, okay. So let's check out. This is called Witches with a Y, uh, which is the way the term witch. By the way, for those who don't know, comes from Welsh, the Celtic Welsh language. It's spelled differently from male and female because that's a language that's segregated. Not segregated. There's a name when you have genders in the verb in the construction, like
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing this harkens back to maybe a Celtic / English Welsh folklore origin of it. It's by who else? Scott Snyder is our story guy, and some guy named Jock is the artist. So I never heard of them, but I'm just looking at some of the imagery. I caught some of the images online. The artwork and the coloration looks awesome, right? And but look, let me make myself big so people could see it. There we go. It looks really good. So
It does.
now this is listed as an adult, meaning it's not like it doesn't have erotic situations, if you know what I mean. But some of the art will show
No,
some
it's
naked people, if you know what I'm saying. So so just be aware of that. It's like, so if you're below the age of 18, get your parents' permission. Okay. Now the next thing, this is an experiment. I don't know if you can see over my shoulder here that comic box that's now full. It took me about 8 or 9 months to fill that, and I was going to buy another one, but they didn't sell. They only sold them in 3 or 4 packs. And I didn't even had the money. I'm like, I don't need to store it. Like, it took me 3 years to fill those up. So I said, I want to buy one. And so I found this here. It looks pretty interesting. It's a comic box, but it's made. Look.
Oh yeah, I've got one.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be water resistant and everything.
Similar to that.
Yeah. So I am very enthusiastic about it. I don't beat it up, like break it trying to beat it open, but I like it.
Yeah.
It has the handles. I'm a little worried about the handles, maybe, but hopefully they're tough enough. You know what I mean? Because this will weigh 15 to 20 pounds with comics in it. You know what I'm saying? It has a magnetic.
Right.
Velcro, magnetic. It's Velcro. Okay. So I like this. I like the construction of it. It's supposedly water resistant, like waterproof, like water won't penetrate, but it's not water like if you blast it with a hose, you're screwed. You know what I mean? But I do like it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've got one it's a heavy duty plastic one.
yeah, I thought I'd get one of those, but that was like $5 more. So let me try. If I'm going with one, let me try. Let me try this one because it's a little cheaper. And then the last thing, which we'll spend a little time on, I guess I could hold this and hold that, Okay. Put this up here. So this is Star Blazers 2202, right? And you guys who knew my live stream probably 2 ago, I got Star Blazers 2199. And this is the remake. Do you know what Star Blazers is, Jacob?
No.
Space Battleship Yamato. Okay, so I will. So before I talk too much about this, I can actually share some video now. Let's get us back on screen. Let's open up my anime series. So first we'll talk about the original, or show the original off, so to speak, right? Okay. I won't do the audio, obviously, because we might get sued. Let's just find maybe the 3rd episode. By the theme song for space in Japanese, it's Space Battleship Yamato. English was Star Blazers. The Japanese, especially the original, had quite a bit of because the Yamato is a famous World War II battleship, right? And it was so there's a little bit of Japanese nationalism in the original Japanese version of it. Plus, there's I guess you would say sexism by modern standards. I'm perfectly fine with like panty shots or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's just anime. You know what I'm saying? But like, so you get some of that in the original, and the English version of that, they changed the name of the ship, and it's Star Blazers. But the theme song, even it's the same music with English words that's slightly different. It's one of the most kick butt. Like if I had to say that the greatest anime theme songs of all time, it's Star Blazers and Space Battleship Yamato. It's like number 1 and number 1A. So let's. So I'll show off the original, first. Share screen, window. Not Nemo. Where's there? It is. Okay. So this is the original. Can you see it there, Jacob? What's Is it shared out yet? Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I recognize that.
Yeah. Let me mute this. Well, what I'll do, I'll show the original and a similar thing from the remake. Because the remake is almost a 1-to-1 episode remake, but they add some storyline, which I'll talk about in a minute. So, yeah. So there's the Yamato before, on the ground. You see on top of the little sexism bits there and all that, And I love this. This is one of the first animes I've ever watched. Right. So this is when the missile is attacking the Earth in an attempt to destroy the Yamato. Because the Gamelons find it. I'll explain the plot of this in a few seconds. And the launch. I mean, there's so many classic elements. The rugged Japanese captain. You know what I mean? The young crew, because the only crew they can put together and all that. And it's actually well plotted for an anime, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our how do you say? How shall we say the original, right? And now we'll go over to the remake, which that was this. So I have season 1 already ripped off and put into my media player, right? So that's season 1 was the remake. This is a clip from season 1. Present, share screen, window. All these blank Nemo windows. There we go. So now you see how everything kind of looks the same, but it's a much more updated artistic style. You see.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they still kept many of the same. That's the hyperspace jump. They kept many of the same elements, of course, same characters, the same premise, but the level of artistic, it's a more modern, I would call this honestly 80s anime art style, maybe early 90s, even though it was done in 2012. Like what we're looking at right now is my favorite anime art style, like the way it looks right now, and then obviously like the 70s was my second favorite.
Some of the new Gundam series are like this.
Yeah, Gundam either looks like the original, or I just showed you, Space Battleship Yamato, or like this. That Gundam comes from the same sort of people creating it. Yeah. So there's that. So now, okay. So I got season 1 of the remake, right? And now I wanted to get. There's 3 seasons of it. Now this is supposedly this. I don't know if this is the second season or the second and third season. So we're going to find out live what's on here. Here's my Transformers knife. I don't know if you can see the symbology on the handle there. It's a Decepticon knife. Yeah, my cousin used to work for a big knife factory, basically. And every year she'd come home with a box of like $1,000 worth of knives and axes and stuff. You saw my little hatchet and all. I think in one episode that they were extras, so we would just get like free knives every year.
Well, that's nice.
Okay, so man, I hate when the disc comes loose. You don't know if it's busted or anything. Anyway, Okay, so this. Oh, by the way, these come with downloadable digital copies from Funimation. So, I ripped them myself because I know what the quality I want. But if you bought these and you want to do the ripping, and just want to watch on your computer, not your Blu-ray, you can actually download the copies for the coupon. 2202
cool.
episodes 1 to 7, episodes 8 to 13.
I wish they'd do that with everything.
Yeah, because I want original media. I don't want to watch anything online anymore. I don't think this is okay. I think this is season 2, and I think they just released it as 2 parts. You know what I mean? Because so then there's a season 3. So I got to find out if the season 3 is if they ever did it. And not that I want to do. I'm actually start this live in the background while we're sitting here. This is my. You can rip. This is a cheapo little $50 Blu-ray external Blu-ray player. Come on, buddy. There you go.
Okay.
The only drawback is it takes a while to read it because it's like a low tech device. But I'll start ripping while we're talking. Right? So that's that. So we got that done. Okay, what's next on the list? Next, we'll do something fairly mundane. Okay. Open up this one. This is just something I do all the time when I could afford it. So this is this is a roll of I think it's 20 of book covers for hardcover books with jackets. You have like the type you get in a library. And this should be the one with, like I said, with a jacket, which has the white paper. If you had jacketless books like this book I'm about to show you, like this, you'd buy the one that doesn't have the white paper in it, basically. And usually this size fits most hardback books. The company I get from makes two sizes bigger as well. So. And I find it
that's good. Even if you
hold on, Jacob, my headset.
That's good to even have it as like a.
I can hear you. Sorry, no, it worked. There was just a weird disruption. Sorry about that. So you want to talk again, Jacob?
Yeah, that's even good if you want to just protect the. That's even good if you want to protect the, cover, too.
Oh yeah. I mean that's the thing. Like with books I keep, I tend to read a lot. You know what I mean? So having this on it, it just reassures me that I'm paying. Now, granted, this is a fairly cheap book. This was maybe $15 on sale, and this $15 should last me the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, I went through like Lord of the Rings. I've read it so many times. Like the copies I have now, I've had but I couldn't even read them. But like I would read backup copies rather than the good copies sometimes. You know what I mean? I wore up paperbacks.
Yeah.
Some of Andre Norton's books. She wrote the book. You ever see the movie Beastmaster? She wrote the not the novel that was based on from her Witch World. And I've read hard books like over and over again when I was a kid to the point where the covers were falling off, had to be taped together and all that, With books like this, I will tape over the whole thing with clear Scotch tape, like this stuff, and basically make it laminated, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Next up on our unboxings, we have. I think you'll find what's in here pretty interesting if I would note this is correctly. The one reason I don't like to get these paperback books is sometimes you get these dinged up covers. So I'll make myself big screen here. This is the original novel of The Great Escape, that the movie was based on,
Okay.
and this is well, it's not so much a novel; it's an actual like documentary book, and this is
Right.
the true what happened afterwards. I don't know if you remember, but like in the movie, they just executed a bunch of dudes. In reality, which
Yeah.
Master of the Air talked about, the Nazis actually violated all the rules of warfare and were deliberately executing people in retaliation for the escapes because there was more than one escape besides the Great Escape.
Yeah.
You know, so that's these two books.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me. I always spend more time cleaning up after these unboxings than doing anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me put that up there. Okay, and the last thing, which anyone watching this knows, are my comic books. Although I will share. So I have it finally loaded in the Blu-ray player. Let me show you guys something. Here we go. So if you can see this, so I put the Blu-ray disc into that player. This is a legal and free program called Make MKV. Now it's gonna unlock the video so that like it's reading the disc and seeing what's on there. With a Blu-ray like this, it could take a while to decrypt and open it. So so we'll go back to that in a bit. Let's go to this view here for now, so I can open this up. Now this is my comic book. So I get comic books. I have the links below in the chat. My regulars is from Things from Another World, which is I really like it. They've improved their website. The website's still a little difficult to maneuver, and I don't recommend doing subscriptions from them. I just do pre-order. In other words, manage your subscriptions yourself. But I really like the service they do when with the comics that they provide. I also order from on eBay, Ron's Comic Closet, and at Pops. Pops, our Pops, the YouTuber Pops.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I get stuff from him. He helps me out with comics too. So I have those 3 links down below in the chat. Okay. Holy crap! What else is in there? Oh, that's okay. Okay. Don't need all that cardboard. It's on the invoice. Make sure. Okay. Holy crap. So another thing, because I have an abundance of bags and boards, I don't get my stuff bagged and boarded. In other words, once I have like 200 of them sitting around. Once I use those up, I will get to have them pay for them to do it. You know what I mean? But so this is the one they owed me. They forgot to ship, so they sent me like another copy of it. Basically, it's Transformers #5. I showed this off like last month.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But the rest of it comes in a big magazine bag on box or board, and I will do that myself after the show. Okay, so let me put these in order. Okay, so this is issues 9 and 10 of a sci-fi series called Antarctica. It's kind of like a little Lovecraftian. It's kind of like alternate dimension, like Fringe. It's a little bit like Fringe, if anyone remembers that TV show. I've really enjoyed it so far. It started a little slow. Here's our internal artwork. Looks really good.
Nice.
As far as book construction goes, this is it's from Top Cow Comics, which I believe is the company Stan Lee started in the 90s. I believe this is a $4 book. I'm not impressed by see how floppy this is, right? And if I didn't have the spine protected with this finger, this spine would bend, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not impressed by their what they give you, the value of construction of the book of $4. If you know what I'm saying, Jacob. You know how I phrase it.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh.
I think my headset just died. Yep, headset just died. I want to go to speakers. Let me change the settings. I gotta change the battery in this thing. Okay. And I'll adjust it. I know this is gonna be loud as hell at first. Okay. Hey Jacob, say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's loud as hell. Let me lower
Can
that
you hear
a
me?
little. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I got this. This is an Arctic Silver 7 series. I got it like 10 years ago. It's an excellent headset. It still works fine, but I got to change the battery. And the only reason I haven't is because I had to buy a new soldering kit because all my soldering tools got lost over the years. Because you have to solder the batteries into this. But it's like a 200. It
Yeah.
was a professional level gaming headset. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to just buy another one because it's so
Right.
good. I was saying the construction. I always like so people know when Top Cow gives $4, it's not a well constructed book. The content is excellent of this series, but for $4, I expect a little better than this.
Yeah.
Now this is a mini series I've been reading called Crash Down. It's from Whatnot Publishing. It's Whatnot Publishing out of Massive, basically. I think Massive is the imprint. I haven't quite figured out. I have books by them for multiple. This is also a $4 book. This is noticeably better construction. The cover stock is thicker. If you know the way I'm holding it, my finger's straight and the spine isn't bending. Right? If it was on the different, I'll do it both on screen. My finger, see how the spine is bending with my finger straight. So I have to actually make my finger angle to support the spine. If you get the difference, that's the quality construction I'm talking about. This should be issue 3. It's kind of it's a sci-fi series about alien going to another planet and colonizing it. Basically, this is the artwork quality. Pretty good. Okay.
Cool.
This is issues 3 and 5 of Duke, the image from the Image Energon universe with run by Kirkman with Transformers and GI Joe. Issue 4 is coming in from Ron's Comic Closet. Okay, these are $4 books, I believe. Yeah. So now, interestingly enough, this is the Image $4 book has more pages, but is not as well constructed as the book from Massive. If you get the difference, so you get a little more content, but that just could be advertising, if you know what I mean. But as far as the quality of the series, I've really enjoyed this the Energon universe, the Transformers and GI Joe products have been pretty good. All right, that's the artwork. Okay. This is a mini series I've been reading called Godzilla War for Humanity. Right, it's a little different art style than you would use. It's more cartoony of an art style. I do like it though. Let's go Godzilla. This is the fifth of 5 issues. That's from IDW, who has the Godzilla license. Now, remember I mentioned the Energon universe. So, wow, yeah. So this is issue number 7 of Transformers. I have 8 and 9 I think coming from Ron's Comic Closet, or I have 8 and 9 in the box. I don't remember which offhand. Right. And this is a throwback to Transformers G1. It's really enjoyable, the artwork thing. Right. And I mentioned the main comic from the Android universe is actually called Void Rivals. It's written by Kirkman himself. It's a sci-fi adventure involving the Transformers and other elements. There's Shockwave, one of the great Transformers villains of all time.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And lastly, I'm missing issues 4. This is from Valiant. It's a $5 book. It's very well constructed. It's cardstock covers. It's thick. This is X-O Manowar Unconquered. I only read the first issue. There's 6 out. I have issue 6 as well. I'll have issues 1 through 6 once my Ron's Comic Closet order gets here, probably on next week's show, basically. And it's, so those who don't know, back in the 90s, Marvel and DC did a lot to tick off a bunch of creators. So everyone was created. So the two big alternate companies that came up were Image, which was a company who was supposed to publish creator-owned comics, and then imprint called Valiant Comics, which, to my money, Valiant was Valiant was a continuation of the Marvel spirit of the 1980s. It was great early on. Then there was a whole bunch of scam involved with, so not the comic creators, they got screwed over too, but the financiers basically would print like an extra million copies of everything, was secretly hiding it away because they wanted to game the comic market, and like because Valiant was going up, like Valiant first issues for the first couple years like $56 a pop, and what their plan was to flood the market and make millions of bucks with all the before anyone could caught it, But they got indicted over a scam. It caused the collapse of Valiant Comics. There was a second era of Valiant when Acclaim, the video game company, bought them, but that sucked. Then there was some more Valiant, I think, in the 2000s, which sucked. And now Valiant Comics is back to its own independent imprint, which is still owned by a parent company, but they're doing their original series. And then so far, at least Exo seems to one issue like it's kind of a throwback to the original. What is that?
That's cool.
Yeah. So those are our unboxings. Now, Jacob had mentioned a manga before. Oh, actually, before we get to the manga, let's do one more. One thing. Okay. So I had my player load up that disc basically. So I'll show you what it looks like when I share screen. So now my Blu-ray player has read the disc, right? And you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chapters basically, right? The one at the end that's 45 gigs, that's all the episodes in one continuous file. And the first couple are all the 6, 7 episodes on the disc in standalone. And when you rip it, you can I grab all the subs. And the recommendation I always give to people when you're doing this, take all the subs, because sometimes I noticed with the first season of this, see how there's 2 5.1 Englishes. There's actually no, there's only one 5.1 on this one, and there's but there's 2 other Englishes. One of the English soundtracks was offset on the disc, so by having ripping all of them, I could not have to worry about having to re-rip it or whatever. So anyway, just gonna uncheck that. And then I'm going to make MKV, and yes. So now that's going to rip the first 7 episodes of season 2, and then I'll let that go for an hour, and I'll be able to convert those and put them on my media player and watch them at my enjoyment. So now Jacob had a manga called Leviathan, right, Jacob?
Yeah, I shared it in the private chat, or a link to the Wiki page.
Private. Yeah, where is private? Private chat. Okay. Stop screen, present. And so is this what you want me to share, or are you just showing? Oh, those are the wiki. Okay, we can share that. Yeah. Here we go. So this is our wiki for it.
Yeah.
Leviathan, also known as Deep Sea Water, is a completed post-apocalypse So manhwa, MANHWA, is the Korean version of manga, for those who don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So it's like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 arcs, basically. Okay. Go back. And what's our premise here? So completed, written by Lee Guntak, illustrated by Noah Myung, published by Tumix, which also did the English release. That's the interesting thing. Where for those who don't know, um, up until maybe 15 years ago, Japanese companies didn't really care too much about the release of manga and anime outside of Japan. They always farmed it out to other companies. So that's how like Filmation and all came to exist, right? Um, so early on, but the Koreans originally their original manga and anime market, they didn't have their own. Was basically getting the license to Japanese products like Macross, and they became the worldwide distributor, which is why. So they had a lot of rights to a lot of manga and anime of the Japanese market for up until I think the 1990s or early 2000s, when a lot of Japanese companies seeing these rights available were able to get them back, right? So then eventually, so they had already established a market to distribute like their stuff. You know what I mean, Jacob? And
Yeah.
then now obviously that fed into the Korean manhwa market, just feeding right into that. So everyone got exposed to Korean stuff. So this takes place on a
Cool.
post-apocalyptic aquatic Earth, a century after a calamity rose the sea levels. The Leviathan follows the adventure of siblings Bota and Rifta after their father, Teon Ma, sacrificed his life to save them from a sea monster, who were soon taken in by a woman called Kana and acquainted to the deceased father. Okay, seems pretty interesting. I am going to
Yeah, it's
check
pretty good.
out the legals. Not that we would advocate any illegal means of acquiring it, but I'm going to check out the legal ways of acquiring and see what we could recommend.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Attack on Titan a little bit.
Yeah.
They fight sea monsters. It's pretty cool.
Okay. I keep finding French editions. Oh, I would never read it in French ever. Like, you couldn't pay me.
I don't know French.
But if you wanted to read it in French, it's like $20 a shot.
Yeah.
That's from Amazon. What I will do, people, I will try to hunt down a legal way to get that product and put it in the link below. And then, of course, there's other ways to get it, which we cannot, of course, go into detail about. Other than suggesting it's on the high seas somewhere on the show, right? Yeah. Dan Dempsey is letting us know the sale of the content acquisition. But the one thing I don't like about digital acquisition, which that would be, is you don't really. I mean, yeah, you have the images, but you don't have the physical product. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really
Yeah.
have it.
Right.
Have it. That irritates me a lot. What else? So
They're also they're starting the what is it? Oh, McFarlane Toys. Action figures. He
oh yeah,
started a virtual action figures you can buy.
virtual action figures.
Virtual action figure, yeah.
That's like that's like replacing your girlfriend with Playboy. You know what I mean? It's like you get the reference I'm making. Like you're giving up the real thing for the image. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That is stupid. I can't imagine. Like, no, well, I guess if they're like animate, like you own them and they're animated or something, I guess that will be okay. You know what I'm saying? But
I guess, but man, what are you gonna do with that?
yeah, that's exactly the point. But I mean, I guess you could play with it in the computer or whatever. If there were a fighting game, you could drop it in. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
don't
that
agree with it.
that
I'm
would
just
make
trying to.
sense, but not
Yeah, yeah.
just that.
It just seems like I guess anyone will buy anything. Would be my thoughts on that.
I mean, the term action figure, it's something you hold in your hand.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
What I'm watching lately, I found a series. It's called Kaiju Number 8. I'll share a little bit of that one. Let me get it playing first. Oh, is it going to lag out on me because of the? Yeah, I think it's going to lag out on me because I'm ripping the disc. So I won't play any of it. It's basically about a dude who gets infested by a kaiju. So the premise is Japan is infested and the world infested with kaiju, giant monsters, right? And
Right.
so they have a whole organized industry about killing them and cleaning up and all that. So this dude on the cleanup squad who wanted to be on the actual kill squad, if you know what I mean. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
he gets infested by a kaiju and gains the ability to transform into one. Basically, and he's really, and I like any anime. He's like really high powered and all that, and it's a great mystery because there's something going on, and so. No, my only complaint about it is the humor is a little too much. You know what I mean? Like, there's a
Yeah.
lot of the serious parts and cool parts, and then you get the humor is a little bit too much. Kind of like how the humor in early Naruto is a little too much,
Yeah.
And then so that I've been watching, and then I also just finished watching an anime called the first season called Ninja Kamui. That means basically Ninja Authority of the Gods. That's what Kamui means. And you ever see the movie Ninja Assassin from like 2011?
Ninja Assassin.
If I showed you
I don't
images
think
from
so.
it, you probably would recognize it. It's Shokasugi played the evil master ninja. A Korean pop star played the main ninja. He's actually pretty good in the role. And premise was that there were like the hidden lore of the ninja. There were 9 ninja clans only, and they was operating the world. And they did have superpowers and all that. The movie was really good until the end when it kind of like leveled out. But this anime reminds me a lot of Ninja Assassin. Like early on, especially before it goes cyber tech in the midway through it. So if you're into that sort of like ninja action with some cybernetic stuff, I could recommend Ninja Kamui. That's another cool thing.
Okay.
Other than that, and
Yeah.
Star Blazer,
Sounds
which
cool.
I didn't think so. When season 1 of Star Blazers, Jacob, man, I was like, I'll watch this. I haven't seen it in years. I will enjoy it. I binged it. I watched 26 episodes in like 3 days. You know, it was such a throwback, and it has such a great theme song. I even watched all the theme songs until the last couple episodes when I wanted to get through the episodes because I wanted to see the ending of it. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
you know, so
That's
there's
cool.
that. What else we got? Still got we got Dempsey and our unknown people in the chat. If you guys have any questions, let me know. What's our time at 3:47? So we've done all our unboxings. Um, let's do a little round robin on Shogun. So, are you enjoying it so far, Jacob?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I really have to pay attention to it, because got to read the subtitles. So I'm going through it slow.
Yeah. The thing I won't. Well, you're up halfway through, so I'm not going to go too spoilery. You said you read the book, right?
No, I saw the original series.
Okay. So the original one, obviously the book was the book, right? The original
Right.
adaptation basically made like there are basically 2 co-main characters in the book. There's Blackthorn and Tornaga, and you get both of their perspectives. And the novel is it's an exploration of the socio-political events leading into the rise of the of in the show Tornaga, and he's based on the real life Tokugawa Ieyasu, who the first shogun of the Tokugawa shogunate, and who began what's called the Edo period in Japan, right, which was the last shogunate before reversion of imperial rule, and he lasts over 200 years. And that time period occurs over the course of like 30 years of him doing stuff, right? So this
Right.
takes all these characters in Shogun are based on real people for the most part. Like Lady Mariko Sama is based on a Japanese woman named uh, something Gracia, right? Um, and she is a devout Catholic. Um, she never met Blackthorn at all, or who in real life William Adams. Okay, and her death. Well, you know how she dies because she's the original. Um, her death in real life was the means by which Ishida and the Regency forces had to come out of Osaka Castle. So, if you've been following, have you seen my reviews yet, Jacob?
Some of them, yeah.
So, what I do in my reviews, I talk about like the military stuff because this adaptation, especially, doesn't talk as much about the military stuff going on. And for people who don't understand, Edo Castle and Osaka Castle are very like Edo is where Tokyo eventually is. They're like virtually like fortresses. You can't if someone's holed up in there, you have to besiege them for years to get them out, right? So as long as Toranaga could stay in Edo, he could basically there's nothing they could do other than a multi-year siege, and he couldn't do much about the Regency forces because they were in Osaka Castle. Plus, they had all the alliances with the other regions, right?
Right.
So, in real life, Lady Garcia's death forced Ishida's for Ishida is real life. Ishido is the TV show / movie, if I remember correctly, and forced him and his force to come out of Osaka so Tokugawa Ieyasu could actually fight them. As opposed to, so you're so I believe if you're halfway through, and that's and I talking about the military political aspect of it in that regard. I think the new adaptation has less of the military aspect and more of the political, and has more of Toranaga's viewpoint, and less of Blackthorn's. The things I don't like about the new adaptation is it makes Blackthorn and even Toranaga less as genius as they were in both the novel and in real life. I don't want to spoil the miniseries you're watching, but that was that's why at the end I rated it as 9 out of 10 as far as a viewing event goes. But as far as adaptation goes, it's more like a 5 or 6 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like the original was probably the second best book adaptation of all time. I mean, the best book adaptation of all time, in my view, is the 1970s Salem's Lot TV miniseries, and then the second best is the 1980s Shogun. So, but the cast is great. Sanada as Toranaga is great. The guy who's still my favorite character in the book and in the original and this is Yabushige. Asano, who plays Yabushige in this one, is amazing. The actor who played him in the original is an actor from the movie Mothra. Can't never remember his name. He's a longtime Japanese star. He also did great. The character is such an amazing, like the way he constantly you see how like he's constantly trying to play both sides because he can't figure out what Toranaga's going to do. Basically, that's just amazing. I love the way the actors both carry. I love like Clavel wrote the character.
Right.
Yeah.
The guy playing him is really good too. He's good at it.
Yeah, his name is Asano. He you'll recognize him from I have to look it up because soon I see
he was in Battleship.
Yeah, Battleship. He's the captain, the Japanese captain in Battleship, and he was also he was in that bad Midway movie from 2019. He's Hogan in the Thor movies.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he was in some of the modern Zatoichi films. Have you ever seen any of the Zatoichi stuff?
I don't think so.
Zatoichi is a like a blind samurai.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And there was an original series of like I want to say 30 of them years ago, and then they did a revival in the early 2000s. And Asano was he was in the revival film,
Yeah.
So yeah.
If I'm muted, there's a lawnmower. It's because there's a lawnmower going by.
Okie doke. Yeah, no problem there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Asano was Ichi the Killer. You ever seen Ichi the Killer?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, Asano played the main character.
Oh, okay.
Ichi the Killer is like a well, if you watch a lot of Japanese films, you know what Ichi the Killer is. I'm saying, yeah, I say I don't know what like you watch as far as Japanese movies go, So
Yeah.
yeah. What else? What else you watching there, Jacob?
Man, it's been a while since I've watched anything.
Okay, if you have anything coming up, I'm just sure, I'm trying to keep my guests involved in the show. It's like
Yeah,
yeah.
I have a list of stuff. Just let me look at it real quick.
Because after this, we'll go over some of the articles, stuff like that.
Okay.
Actually, Asano in the Mortal Kombat film they did a couple years ago, he was Raiden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I mean that film, but any parts with Sub-Zero in it, that movie was awesome. And
I
Sanada
think the
played
last.
Scorpion, by the way. Sanada, who played Tornaga, played Scorpion in that film. Anything with Sub-Zero and Scorpion was awesome in that movie.
Yeah, those. He was good as Scorpion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching that. I don't know if it's a actual Japanese, but it's Netflix, I think. Delicious in Dungeon. That's pretty good.
Delicious
Kind of a
Dungeons.
delicious in Dungeon. They cook monsters.
Oh, okay. I kind of
Yeah,
heard of it, but I haven't watched it.
it's okay. It's okay. It's a fun one.
I'll check it out. I'm always looking for something interesting. Well, especially once I get done with Star Blazers season 2, I gotta find out if they did season 3 of. So for Star Blazers, each season, like the first season of Star Blazers, is the Earth is accidentally started a war with an alien empire, right? And they've been
Okay.
basically bombed into oblivion. So there's like a year left for life on the Earth, and another alien sent a message to them from Iskandar, and like they say, look, they give them super advanced technology that they can travel faster than light and all that. So you come to our planet, we can give you a device that will fix a technology that will fix the environmental damage onto your planet, and then you could use the other technology we gave you to sort of stop the war. You know what I mean? And that's the
Yeah.
first season, the Journey to Iskandar. And then the cool thing about the theme songs to Star Blazer is it changes every season because the second season is about the Comet Empire, and the third season is about the Bolar Empire. So it's like a really cool progress with the theme song. You can hear the enthusiasm in my voice
That's
as we
cool.
talk about it, I guess, right? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. But
What's the name of it again? Star.
English will be Star Blazers, and Japanese will be Space Battleship Yamato.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And the modern, obviously, it's just the '70s one you'll find either under those titles, but the remake that I'm watching is called Star Blazers 2199, and then the
Okay.
second season is Star Blazers 2205 because it takes place several years after 2199, and then the third season I have to find. You know,
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'll check that out.
but I think you can get it on Fun if you have Funmation's like Webster. Funimation bought what did they buy? What Crunchyroll. So if you watch stuff on Crunchyroll, you can probably find it there. You know? Okay, so let's do our article review. Present share screen. Okay. Okay, so that one. Okay, so we talked about. Here we go. So obviously, we talked about the passing of Bernard Hill last night on Roman show, Roman the Empire. He's the thing I want to bring up though. He was in a lot more stuff than Lord of the Rings. You know, if you follow
Oh yeah,
like his
yeah. He's a lot of
yeah,
good stuff.
if you go to his wiki, here is his career. Here's his filmography. Man, uh, he was in Gandhi. You know, The Bounty. Uh,
He was in
Mountains of the
Ghost of the
Moon. I remember
Darkness.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
The go for his film for Mando. He was in the Ghost in the Darkness.
yeah.
Yeah, Titanic. He was a captain in Titanic. You know, I think if I remember correctly, if I could find it.
I know he's been in a lot of British TV too.
Yeah, that's what I'm listening over here. You know, so and obviously the theater. Another actor who died last week though is Ian Gelder. Now he's most probably well known to the audience as Cavan Lannister on the Game of Thrones TV show, but you've probably seen him
Oh
in
yeah,
stuff. Yeah, he's only in a couple movies. Uh, King Ralph. That's the one where John Goodman was the last surviving member of the Royal Blood. Have you ever seen that? It's kind of funny, kind of sad, but he's in a lot of TV.
Hmm.
He's a massive TV actor. I've seen half of that. I've seen Torchwood. Obviously, you're a Doctor Who fan. You've seen Torchwood. The 2000s Robin Hood. He was in that. He was in a couple episodes of the modern Doctor Who show, the unfortunately bad Doctor Who that we've had recently.
yeah.
You know, so he's in a lot. Like if you watch a lot of British TV, you know you've seen his face, and I thought he got overshadowed a little by Bernard Hill dying. You know, so
Yeah.
I have the links to both of their like Wikipedias and the article of their death down below. So now we talked about this on Roman's show last night. Now I don't know if this is an image, right? Obviously made by whoever that is. This isn't their official release. That looks
What
10 times better than that. I don't understand. This is what I try because I know people were ranting about with their woke derangement syndrome last night and all that. Like just the sheer marketing. And this is the thing, okay? I'll say this: of James Gunn's projects, the only one I really enjoyed was the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, right? So I'm down on Gunn to
Yeah.
begin with. I had to get that out there. I wasn't shitting on this movie because it was like a woke or whatever. I'm shitting on because I don't like in general what Gunn does in most of his work, you know. But that aside, think of the marketing decision here, right? You know there's a huge Superman fandom out there that's pissed off about the last couple movies, and you pissed them off further by, I mean, Henry Cavill is a great Superman actor. There's no doubt about that. He just got bad
Yeah.
movies, you know?
Right.
Plus, and people forget about this, I don't know if you watched Superman and Lois, the TV show that's on. That show is arguably, at least for the first and second seasons, the best Superman TV show maybe ever. You know, so you got two
Yeah,
great
that's
Supermen,
what I've heard.
two great Supermen going on at the same time. He's doing this, you know,
Yeah.
and like, so there's a lot for this Gun guy to, you know. Oh, look, so they're saying already. Look, new Superman movie is meant to do a darker, grittier take on the iconic superhero. How can it be darker and grittier than Man of Steel?
Yeah.
How? It's so
Why do
crazy.
and do fans want a darker Superman? I mean,
If
what?
well, go ahead. Let me get your thoughts.
I mean, you have Batman. You can go pretty dark with Batman pretty easily, but Superman's a different. I don't know. It's just weird that they keep wanting to do a dark Superman. And I don't know.
But I think this whole generation of directors is like that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um, but here's the thing: you can have a darker Superman movie, but Superman himself is not dark. He is like the shining
Right.
light beacon in the dark. You know what I mean? He's the guy who comes.
Yeah.
He's hope. He represents hope, and not very hopeful when he destroys that city rather than get Zod off the planet. You know,
Yeah.
um, like there was in Superman and Lois. I'm spoiling for those who haven't watched it, but in season 3, Doomsday shows up, right? And the first thing Superman does is gets him off the Earth and takes him to the moon. No contest. He takes damage to himself, just blasts him to the moon to get so collateral damage doesn't happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's how Superman would behave, you know. In fact, that's how he
Right.
died. For those who didn't read the Death of Superman comics when it came out in 1991 or two, um, he died because he was constantly trying to save people from Doomsday's rampage. Whereas if he had taken Doomsday out to begin with before he ramped up his power, he might have been able to get him off the Earth or whatever beforehand. You know what I mean? But by the
Right.
time Doomsday had ramped himself up, escaped from the containment suit, evolved, he continued to evolve, and Superman was on his last legs. That's why he died, basically, because he realized I got to stop saving people right now. I got to take him out, you know. And he took him out and did his job. But like, you know, Superman always thinks got to save the people, got to be the beacon and all that. And if I don't want to see Superman being a jerk, I just don't want to see it, you know.
No.
Yeah. But that aside, you know you have a fandom out there that's ticked off. Why are you putting out an image like this? This is your official release image, right? Image via James Gunn, right? So why are you putting out this dour image when you want to? You're not going to get an enthusiastic fan base out of this, you know. That's my main opinion.
No. It shouldn't have been it that should have been like somebody brought that to him. No, not that.
Yeah.
I mean, do
But
some actual promo photos. Get Superman in his suit with a good background and show off Superman.
have him like rescuing a kid
Don't
or
do
something, you
this.
know.
Yeah. They also put out a image of Green Lantern that looks like just concept art. It's not like a final look
Yeah.
for Green Lantern. It's weird.
Well, the show, I'm guessing that they're still in the pre-production to early production phases. Like they're filming some stuff and doing some
Yeah,
pre-work,
right.
and they're not really like getting it all together type of stuff. They're not really well into filming yet. So I'm going to give it a chance, and I'm down on it because it's Gunn and because it's bad marketing, not because of the image, not because of the dark
No.
looking suit or whatever. And I did point out he has
Yeah.
a belt that will clearly looks like the red trunks are under there. So
Yeah.
Now, to move on to the next thing, which we talked about last night, is the Furya movie coming out. So this would be the fifth and a half installment in Pitch Black, in the Pitch Black series or Riddick series, what you want to call
Right.
it, right? So the first thing would have been that Sci-Fi Channel prequel, which is really only semi-canon because they did the succeeding movies changed some events in it, but it's still really worth watching. Then obviously Pitch Black. Then there was Chronicles of Riddick and Riddick Dark the animated thing. I think the anime occurs right before the Chronicles of Riddick. Then there's Riddick, right? And then there's this. And I mean, I love the mythology of this. I said it last night. I love the like the same thing. It's like I said, it's like Mad Max in space. George Miller has that great mythology created for Mad Max, which now we're gonna
Yeah,
get
right.
Furya and Furiosa, interesting pairing there. Uh
Right.
we're gonna get Furiosa, which I think is gonna be good because Miller's doing it, right? Another mythological character from his setting, and now this
Right.
is the very I almost wish they would do other movies in this setting. It's such an amazing setting, but I guess it's always better. You want to want more, and you know what I mean, rather than feel you've gotten too much. So
Right.
and then I never advertised the live
Yeah,
show.
I
So
didn't even know about this. That's the first I heard of it last night on Roman's
yeah.
show.
Yeah. And I do want to, at the end of the review, I will show off a little bit of the anime. Not a lot of people know about the Riddick anime, so I will show off a little clip or two from that, you know. And then I wanted to talk about this. Again, this was a woke overreaction last night to people who did not understand that the search for Gollum, the hunt for Gollum, one is actually in the Lord of the Rings appendices, right? You know,
Yeah. I
um,
think it's briefly mentioned in the book, actual book. I think.
it's mentioned. Parts of it are mentioned when he talks about how they caught Gollum, how Aragorn hunted him down, and all that. And there's more
Right.
details on it in the actual appendices. And there's a great fan, and I've linked it last night. A great fan. I'll add it to the description when I'm done. And I did talk about it about 2 months ago on when I did the two Lord of the Rings. There are two great Lord of the Rings fan films out there that I've seen. There's the Hunt for Gollum, and then there's the one about Aragorn's birth, Birth of Hope or something like that. And they're both
Right.
great. They're just absolutely great. Peter Jackson knows about both of them. He can't officially approve of them because it's fan fiction or whatever, but his
Right.
comments were very sort of complimentary towards both. I suspect that I'm not saying he's deliberately going to take this like what they did in the fan film and just make it a big movie or whatever, but I suspect he will do homages to the fan film. You know what I mean? Because he did. All
Right.
reports that he liked the fan film. Um, so and because Jackson is doing it and it's with Warner and not Amazon, I do have hope for this because he's in total control of this, and I think this is going to be like all the background he does on this, the costumes and the sets and all that, will be his precursor to the Silmarillion movies he's planning on doing after this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and I hope he does more of what he did with the Lord of the Rings trilogy and doesn't do CGI
yeah,
characters. That didn't work.
and
And
people
to
hear
you can't exactly blame him for The Hobbit.
you
I
can't at
mean, that
all.
had so much that had I mean, you can, but that had so much uh the production companies nosing in there that it just made it into a big mess.
Well, number one, an entirely different company had the license to do that movie, right? So,
Right.
and then number two, he said ahead of time, if you want me to do these, you have to wait a year, basically, right? And then
Right.
he didn't want he like the Hobbit itself doesn't have 3 movies worth of content if the movies are more than 2 hours long. If you do hour and a half movies, you could kind of split up that way. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
but what the mistake they made, like if I were doing it, I would have done The Hobbit Part One, ends with Smog, and then I would have done a film in between called J.R.R. Tolkien's The Battle for Eregion, which is all the scenes with the White Council and the Necromancer, all that sort of stuff, right? Um,
Right.
you could have done an hour and a half movie about that, like the year between the two Hobbit parts, and then because that shows what Gandalf, where he disappeared to in the Hobbit, basically. Um, and then you do Hobbit
Right.
Part Two, which is the Battle of Five Armies, and so you have an hour and a half with Smog, an hour and a half with the Battle of Five Armies, an hour and a half in between, which is not a Hobbit movie. That would have been perfect to me, you know. Instead, they add in
Yeah.
like a battle riding and excessive battles that weren't there in the book, and um,
A love triangle.
yeah, like a love triangle that can't occur in lore. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
um, yeah. So, but there are, as Roman pointed out, and I'll say this: if you go sailing in the high seas, you can find there are 2 fan edits for The Hobbit out there. Um,
Yeah.
One is like a 3.5 hour edit, and the other one's like a 4.5 hour edit, and they take out a lot of the stuff that's not in the book. One of them massages it with some independent work on some scenes to wipe out certain characters which didn't exist. If you get my drift, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so there's something there if you're interested to see a version of it that doesn't suck completely. But
Yeah.
now he's going to do this movie, which is from Lord of the Rings Appendices, and then after this is supposed to be the Silmarillion, right? So I'm imagining he's going to do 4 or 5 movies out of it because it doesn't really lend itself to being one big movie or a trilogy, you know.
Yeah. Do a mini series out of it.
We'll probably see some of it as a mini series, and then let me get below here. So like,
and you forget in the book there's like how many years pass between Gandalf leaving and coming back. I mean,
oh yeah,
that's a
it's
big
almost
chunk of
100 years.
time too.
It's almost 100 years. Yeah. So let me make myself big for a second. So near the end of his life, Christopher Tolkien worked with some other editors in some cases, but this one he actually edited together. He made versions of so Tolkien wanted to event in his dreams had he lived like 300 years or whatever because he's a very slow writer. Um, he would have completed the Silmarillion, right, and then would have taken parts of the Silmarillion and made them into books, right?
Right.
So Christopher took several of the things his father wanted to turn into books: the Fall of Gondolin, of Beren and Luthien, the Children of Hurin, the 3 of them, and another guy edited together another one, basically, and they he took the material like this has the material from the Silmarillion as well as from Unfinished Tales and from the History of Middle Earth that also applies to the Fall of Gondolin, and so Christopher turned it
Right.
into a more of a complete sort of narrative story, right? If you get my drift,
Right.
with some nice illustrations in it. So stuff like this could be a nice little 2-hour movie. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Man, I feel I'm buried in books right now, Jacob. Everywhere I look, there's books all around me. It's like, uh, so that I can see. That's what I would like to see with the Silmarillion. Like maybe you do like the first part, which is Melkor and the making forging of the Silmarils and basically the Noldor being driven mad by Finwë being killed and what was it, a comment here? Oh, that's just Dempsey. Sorry. I got all of a sudden a notification popped up in StreamYard about a comment, but there's been no new comment for a while on YouTube. So it must be StreamYard's like going on, right?
Yeah.
So you could do that where and have it end with the kin slaying and the Noldor coming back to Middle Earth. That'd be part 1. Then you could have maybe a couple. You could, have another movie about some of the early wars of the elves against Melkor. Then maybe do the Fall of Gondolin. Then a Beren and Luthien, Children of Hurin, and then finish it off with, the battle at the end of the First Age. So
Yeah.
that could be one way if you do 5 or 6 movies out of it. But there's no I don't think you could do it as a trilogy and be effective.
Yeah. Too much to cover there.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be an odd series.
It'd be a mistake to just compress too much in. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now we go over to a negative, right? And it's something irks me very badly. I don't know if you play. Do you play any tabletop role playing, Jacob?
No.
So this here is the cover
I mean,
for
I
the
know
original
about some.
what we call the red box of Dungeons. Not this here. That's not it. It's this, right? With a
Mm-hmm.
mail. I still have my red box somewhere. My red box was the D&D basic set. The blue box was the expert set. Then there were 3 more. There was the next set. Then there was the master set, which was and then there was the immortal set. There were 5 basically sets for basic D&D, and then AD&D had the hardback books, right? And
Right.
the D&D red box, as we call it, this is an iconic piece of art, right? And so Wizards of the Coast is basically going to re-release it, right? we're making the artist female.
Why?
Well, Wizard of the Coast is woke as fuck.
Yeah.
Now, if they were being creative, what they could do here, right, is make a new piece of art with a female warrior that looks different with a different dragon and put that on a basic set, and I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because it's new, it's different. But when this is just
They
spitting in
just
the face of
carbon
fans.
copied it
Yep.
and made it a female.
Yeah. Yep. And so I had this article about it, Yeah, it just irritates the fuck out of me. I can't. It so irritates the fuck out of me, Jacob. I can't say it the other way.
With them, there's nothing new. They can only corrupt what's there.
Yeah, basically. And the last article is something kind of fun. I don't know if you know what MeTV or MeTV is, Jacob. It's an over-the-air broadcast network, and it's on a streaming network, like you can go on like a website streaming network that shows a lot of old TV shows. As a matter of fact, I am going to do something neat. I will share something.
Hang on a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, while Jacob's away, we'll coolly process the time. Pepsi, I'm always looking for that Diet Pepsi endorsement out there. If you feel free to send it my way. Man, oh man, there's a pile of insanity right next to me with open boxes and all sorts of stuff. Crazy. It's crazy. Third time's the charm. And I have these everywhere because of my disability issues. I have like 5 of these around the house where I just grip stuff.
Yes. Grabbers are good.
Yeah. I'm just grabbing stuff to do a little cleanup while I was waiting for you there, Jacob. So I was going to show off. So I have a home media player, basically. And we were talking about MeTV. Window. Here it is. So this is my Plex player, which obviously is my personal, this is all my media that I have inside myself. The stuff that I've either DVR'd or ripped off of Blu-rays or whatever. But it has live TV.
Right.
And it has all these networks, right? And MeTV is down here. And this is MeTV, right? And if you, I don't know if you make it, it's tiny. It's hard to see. I can't blow it up, unfortunately. But I've DVR'd Adam 12, all sorts of stuff off of that because Plex will record it for me, and I just got to basically edit some commercials out. And over the years, I've had my Plex library for 15 years now that I put it together. So I've long
is that
a
subscription?
No, you could. Well, okay. I paid for the lifetime Plex Plus, which gets me benefits from the company, like in terms of extra stuff. Plex, basically, you install it on your home computer in your house, right? And then what you do is you create libraries with all of your TV shows. Like here, the movie Dark Star. I just bought a Blu-ray copy of it, so I ripped that in there. It's one of my favorite John Carpenter movies. And now I can watch it on any of my devices, and in my house, basically, right? So,
Okay.
So instead of having to load the Blu-ray to go watch it, and I only watch it where I have a Blu-ray player, if I want to start watching it here and then go lay in my bed and watch the rest of it, anything in my library, I can basically put, But they do have live stuff, and I was talking about MeTV. So I basically have been, over the years, I've ripped as in DVR a lot of old TV off of all of this stuff. This Grit, which had at one point had all of Death Valley Days, but I kind of got tired of watching it. And I liked it more as a child than did as an adult. That's an old Western anthology series. There's a whole Grit's a whole Western channel, all the old Western TV shows. Like Jacob, for example. Now you have an internet connection that works. If you just downloaded Plex, didn't you make your library? Just just went to the live TV, all these dedicated TV channels with all this old stuff you'd really dig, you know. So
Okay, cool.
but MeTV has a lot of like stuff, and they've
So what is it called again?
well, the player or the channel?
The player.
Plex, Plex. So you go to plex.tv.
Okay.
You're gonna have to
Plex.
make a Plex account. There's a free and a paid version. The paid version just gives you extra stuff, but you don't need it to do. I don't know if they give you there's a lifetime subscription for like 35 or $50 or whatever. Or there was when I got it, you know. And it but you can get live TV from them. Now I also have a TV tuner in my network that I paid for. So I can get like a lot of these channels. I'm not sure which ones come in over my HD tuner, which gets me the over air channels, or which come in from Plex, because there's like 500 of them there. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
you have to see what Plex gives you on the Plex channels versus not. But MeTV is also available like on the web. Like you can go you can go like to their website, and they have a lot of old TV shows. If you all these old TV show networks, I love them when you want to watch this old stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And then if I wanted to watch Wagon Train on MeTV, I could just hit play, and you'll see Wagon Train start up.
What's this all about?
See, you know.
Cool.
And, or I could just play my home media, like I was watching Law and Order. I'm a Law and Order junkie, by the way, Jacob. So I was watching Law and Order Toronto right before this show. Right before this show started. So Law and
Have
Order.
you seen Law and Order UK?
Law and Order UK. I have Law and Order UK. There you go. Here, this is my TV show library. I have
Cool.
Law and Order Toronto Criminal Intent, Law and Order LA, Law and Order Organized Crime, Law and Order Special Victims Unit, Law and Order Trial by Jury, Law and Order UK. I used to have Law and Order Russia, but the backup disk it was on got destroyed. So I was like, glad before I did my Plex library 15 years ago, I had like 40 old hard drives I was keeping all my media on that I ripped in or recorded or whatever. And when I finally got the Plex set up, I don't know if you could see. Make myself big for a second here. So if you see this thing on mouse, can you see this at all? Is the mouse up showing over? Let me check on YouTube. Okay, you can't see my mouse doing it, but let's see. Where's my finger? Okay, see my finger is pointing to right now, Jacob.
Yeah.
That's a little home NAS I bought 10 years ago. It's like $500-$600. I have 4 hard drives in there, 8 terabytes, and one's a redundant disk, so 22 terabytes of space. I'm currently using about 21 of it. So with my salary increase I mentioned, I'm probably going to upgrade the hard drive spaces in there before the end of the year, just because it's time, you know.
Yeah.
But all my content I save in there, and I could watch them wherever I want. You know, Plex allows my family to also watch it. So I have my DVDs and Blu-rays scanned in, my aunts, my mothers, my brothers. 3 of my friends have their content scanned in. So I'm like my friends and family's free home service. You know what I mean? And we all could watch it. And, you know, we all watch. Sometimes we could watch private watch party. Like, hey, let's all watch, you know, like Godzilla versus Megalon or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, but it's easy. It's for those out there. It's easy to set up a Plex player and get started. You just install it on a PC you leave on all the time or most of the time. Play around with making the libraries and you know, how do you say? Play around making the libraries and then you know, see how you want them loaded and stored. And obviously, I'm well into the expertise with this, right? You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
the first 6 months to a year, if you ever want to get into this, and it's also a nice way to save your Blu-rays and DVDs, because as you use them, they get worn. You know what I mean? They get scratched up or whatever. Once I rip these, I can put these away and protect them and preserve them, and I don't have to pull them out if I have to re-rip them. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and back to what I was talking before with MeTV. So MeTV is starting a spin-off of MeTV. Excuse me, is basically their version of Cartoon Network, and they will
Okay.
have a lot of old cartoons. You know, basically all these old cartoons that we like to watch sometime, like from Warner or wherever. This summer they're starting their own version of Cartoon Network. And it's going to have the entire Warner catalog, which is like Bugs Bunny, the Looney Tunes, not the Looney Tunes, yeah. Yogi, the Jetsons, the Flintstones, all anything Warner has, they're going to be putting in there. Hanna Barbera, you know. So I'm very
Right.
enthusiastic about that. But I will probably rip some of them, as it were, DVR them, the ones I like, But hey,
Yeah.
because I want the content myself. Because I just with the way the world is now, I'm just afraid that they're going to take everything away online, and they're going to gateway it by canceling you and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. So and Sven, METV on Saturday nights has their sci-fi like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. all sci-fi shows. And if you know who Sven is, him and his dad since the 1960s, like you know who Joe Bob Briggs is or who a Monster Vision was. Do you ever watch any of those shows where like a creepy host of like a monster movie or a science fiction
Yeah.
movie? Yeah.
Right.
Well, Svengoolie is the longest running show like that. His dad started in like the 60s, and then son of Svengoolie, his son took over, and now he's just Svengoolie. And so every week they take an old movie, a science fiction horror or whatever movie, and he'll have a segment with the host where he talks about what's in it. He did costumes and stuff like that, so it's kind of creative, Um, and that's on Saturday nights. It's like a little if you're into that sort of stuff, this hobby area with the sci-fi, the fantasy, and the horror, you kind of like it's something cool, If not, it's just a niche thing,
Yeah.
So that's my pre-planned show. We did the unboxings. We had our guest Jacob. So it's 4:30. Normally I go an hour and a half. I do like to do one or two random articles just to sort of randomize the show and not be totally canned. So let's just do that. Let's look at the box office before we go there. While I have a Jacob too. Oh, I'm about to get irritated. Well, here we go. Lee Majors is one of my childhood heroes. Fall Guy, one of the best TV show themes of all time, and this Fall Guy movie, instead of Fall Guy was an action sort of police procedural TV show, right? They turned it into a rom-com.
Yeah. And that movie sounded like it was a mess.
Yeah, I mean it's such. And I can't play the theme song because we're obviously copyrighted. But Lee Majors sings the theme song because he's the unknown stuntman. It's like, and it's kind of with some of the details of his real life as an actor too. It's kind of funny, But okay, get away irritation, go away. Let's just look at the yearly box office weekly chart. All right, can we do this by gross? Here are totals. Okay, so these are obviously the American totals, right? So Dune Part 2 is still the leader on the year. Flawed film, but still good. 280 million, not bad. I think the total is like almost 700 million when you have the overseas market, right? Matter of fact, let's take a quick lookie over there. Yeah, it's obviously a 400. It's amazing that the foreign market is somewhat big now, but this is really an indicator to me a depressed U.S. market. You know what I mean? Even if you go back to a couple of years ago when we were having like $1 and $2 billion movies when Marvel movies were good, the U.S. alone was putting out $1 billion of that, and now the U.S. just doesn't want to watch this garbage anymore. I'm not saying Dune was garbage, but I think they're almost black-pilled on the movies, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So of these films,
Dune looks good. I think it looks really good. They did a good job.
Yeah.
With
Have you seen both parts?
The feel of it. Yeah.
Have you read the book?
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay.
But the TV miniseries in 2000 had a lot more
I think of
I
the
don't know, more of the story in it
yeah.
than
If we're talking
this
as an
did.
adaptation, I think the sci-fi TV miniseries was the best adaptation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think Villeneuve looks the most like Dune should look, right? But
right,
I think the 1984 one had the best epicness of it. You know what I mean? Like the sort
right.
of yeah. So especially the extended edition, where I remember when I was a little kid, like we went to see it in the theater, me and my uncle, and the theatrical version, unless you read the book, you had no idea what was going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so me and my uncle, only two of the people in the family who had read the book, and we would go watch it a couple times, and they kind of Matt or Joe, my uncle is Joe, like what's this movie about? What's happening? Like, well, why are these people look like giant fish in a tank? What is that? Like, and they're walking around a big fish tank. Why does anyone care what they say? You know? Or well, why are these women like looking at people funny and people are talking with this angry voice or whatever? Like there was no explanation for anything in this movie. You know? It's like, you know. Like
Yeah,
why do the Harkonnens and the Atreides hate each other? You know, like why is the Emperor a douche? Why did It's like such a
right.
yeah. But and I think Villeneuve's films, the biggest disappointment to me is in part two. Obviously, to make it only two parts, he removed all of the politics from Dune, which to me is the most fascinating part. Fine,
Yeah,
okay,
right.
but the way he changed Chani's role, I don't even blame Zendaya for this
Yeah,
because she wasn't
I
given
I
anything.
hated that.
It ruined her character. You know, and
Yeah,
it
it did.
obviously you had to change it because he didn't do a 3 year time skip. He just did like a 7 month time skip, right? So Paul
Right.
and Chinese older baby who was murdered by the Harkonnens never shows up. You know, in the book for people, spoilers for the 56-year-old novel, but Chani is a Sayadina. She is a holy woman and leader among the Fremen. When her father, who is Liet Kynes, dies, she inherits his role of being like the planetary ecologist, basically. You know, so
Right.
she's a bigwig in the Fremen society. She's not just a two-bit working soldier who bitches at her husband for the whole movie. You know, it
Right.
really ruined her character by making all the changes that they did to me. You know,
Yeah, me
but I
too.
don't blame the actress.
No.
Um, so that's the main reason. And I can nitpick. I miss Saint Alia of the Knife. you know, uh,
I mean, I could nitpick a movie I love, so
yeah. Oh no, yeah. I mean,
it's easy to do that. So
I love the theatrical editions of Lord of the Rings, but I can nitpick them.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't watch the extended editions because all the deviations from canon he made are really apparent in the second and the extended, and it just detracts from them. You know what I mean? It makes it like more difficult for me to say, okay, I can accept a change in a 2 hour movie, but not in a 4 hour movie. You know what I mean? Um,
yeah.
but on this list here, I enjoyed Kong Godzilla: The New Empire. If those don't know how to read this, the Japanese convention, when you see the X there, the X is silent. So like Hunter X Hunter should be pronounced Hunter Hunter. You know, so this is
Oh, okay.
Kong Godzilla: The New Empire. It's a flawed movie. I think. Did you see it yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's flawed, but the reason it's watchable is because the pacing is incredibly good. Like the movie just happens. There's no like lollygagging around with anything. It just explodes across the screen. That's why it's watchable.
Okay.
This is the re-release of The Mummy, which amazingly is doing better than some modern films.
Yeah, right.
So,
And that movie
um,
holds up good.
yeah. I'm gonna watch Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire this weekend, probably right before I watch The Great Silence, which is good. By the way, Jacob. Well, before we get too deep into this, Jacob. So Jacob Ironside has a channel. He does. You do 2 shows a week, right? Tuesday and Saturday.
No, just I do 2 shows weekly. I do the Popcorn Talk weekly, and I do the All in the Mix at the end of the month, the last Saturday of the month.
Oh, okay, okay. So not every Saturday. I thought, yeah, my brain was like every Saturday.
Yeah.
Um, and Popcorn Talk is where those of us on the show talk about movies. Uh, which tend to be older movies or more classical movies in the Western or war military history type of stuff, but not always. You know,
Yeah.
uh, and So it's a cool show. I still love the show we did about John Wayne and John Ford. I still love that show. It's like
Yeah,
that to me, two dudes just talking movies they love about what John Wayne is the most. I hate saying this. I think he is one of the most underappreciated actors in the modern era
yeah.
because
I
no
think
one
so
talks
too.
about him anymore. No one, it's
Yeah,
sad.
and if they do, they're not favorable toward him.
Yeah, because of his political beliefs, right?
Right.
But yeah. Am I on the True Grit? Did I get on that one, Jacob?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, and that's the original. And we talked about that. That was that show. We were talking why we thought the new
Mhm.
True Grit remake was good, but wasn't needed. It's like,
Right.
you know. Anyway, I'll be watching Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire this weekend. I have a feeling I will enjoy it. But I have a feeling it's going to be a flawed movie. Like the original, like Ghostbusters Afterlife was. It's enjoyable but flawed. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
This is Civil War is atrocious from everything I've heard. I still want to see The
Yeah.
Boy and the Heron. I haven't been able to get a copy of it
Yeah, I
yet.
haven't seen that yet.
The Fall Guy we mentioned. Challengers. Is this that relationship movie? Yeah, that's that weird relationship movie that I don't really need to see. Arthur the King. I heard about this, but haven't really been able to catch even a preview of it, see what it's about. But
It's about a runner. It's about a long distance runner that comes across a dog, and the dog just follows him,
yeah.
stays with him.
Yeah. Now I hear good and bad things about Monkey Man, so I will probably watch that at some point.
Yeah,
Uh,
same.
yeah. Then there's Abigail, which I believe is I'm not sure what it's about. And then the movie I'm watching probably next week called Cabrini. It's from the same people who did the Sound of Freedom.
Okay.
And then I just got the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, so I'll probably watch that. But the movie that more people need to watch, okay, Late Night with the Devil. There's a sort of subgenre of horror films that take a concept of, they would do that, right? Like if this stuff, like if demonic possession really exists, right? Okay, I could see a talk show host wanting to get a possessed person on the show so they can interview the demon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they do this so well, like what you would expect to happen actually happens. You know what I mean? Or there's my favorite film in that genre. It's called The Atticus Institute, where it's experimented in the 1960s where the U.S. military tried to weaponize demonic possession. Like they were taking soldiers who were condemned to die, who were right, getting possessed by demons and either trying to make a deal with the demon or enslave the demon to have a super soldier. And it went about as wrong as you possibly could expect. Oh God.
Yes.
Yeah. But
That can't go
yeah.
good.
But but they did it so well, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's our box office review. I'll grab two random articles just so I can have my usual randomness in the show. This here. So they've done another remake of Salem's Lot. Well, it's not a remake, another readaptation. There was a really bad, well, not really bad. There was a subpart adaptation. I want to say in like around the year 2000, somewhere around there. Nowhere near as good as the original from the 70s. And now there was this remake, another adaptation of it that Stephen King says it's good. And Salem's Lot, the novel, is Stephen King's favorite novel that he ever wrote, right? And
Hmm.
he loves the original adaptation, right? So
Right.
Stephen King says this adaptation is almost as good as that one. So but they keep delaying the release of it for some logistical reasons, and I don't know why. Now this one here, the rumor Netflix One Piece to race swap Nico Robin, alleged C2 casting leaks, the Latina actress for role of Stride archaeologist. That I doubt that's going to happen because Oda the creator of One Piece has iron-fisted control of it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, that's good.
and I think rumors like this get dropped by woke activists who are working on it, who are trying to force public pressure to make him give in. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Yeah. So, anything else here? Let's check out Dark Horizons. This is probably my favorite like fan information site. You know, nothing really leaping off my page here.
I'm
Oh,
hearing some really good things about Alien Romulus.
yeah, I keep hearing that too. But I'm ready to be disappointed. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I tried watching Fallout. Oh my god, I had to force myself to watch the first half an hour of it. Force myself. I know that people who love that TV show, they say it's really good, but I was like, I felt like shoot myself in the head. You know what I mean?
I'm
So
50-50 on it.
yeah. I respect the game.
First 3 episodes were rough to get through.
Yeah.
Some of the characters were good. The girl character is pretty good. The ghoul, he's a good character.
Yeah.
But it's not a great series.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Jacob, while I respect the game and played it a little bit, I never got into the game series, so that's not making me want to watch. You know what I mean? Like, it's not
Right,
something I love that I want to see. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
right.
yeah. Anything else here? Do we do cosmic news? No. X-Men worst performer. Oh yeah, of course. Oh, X Woke 97. You know, it's like the
Really?
six shooters. Yeah. Some people say it's actually pretty good, but I can't. I just
I've watched some of it. It's not bad.
yeah.
It's not far off from the original, but of course there's going to be some modern stuff shoved into it.
Yeah. Do you know about this, Jacob? The Doctor Who crossover in Star Trek: The Next Generation.
No.
It was a fan. It was like a little homage by the production crew.
Oh, okay, okay.
So if you look at one of the screens during this episode, right, and if you zoom in on this screen, you'll see the names of the actors who played the Doctor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But when they did the remaster of Next Generation, they had to wipe it out because of legal issues.
Oh,
Because you can't use
that's
their actors in a guild, so you can't use their names without their permission unless you pay them.
yeah.
Yeah. And then Fandom Wire. Oh. Hmm.
Yeah, I ran across something. It was a live thing that goodness, what's his name? The guy that played Q
John Delancey.
and Leonard Nimoy did. It was like Q meets Spock.
Oh, was it a Phantom?
Really
Was it like
entertaining. Yeah.
Oh, if you have a link to it, I could always drop it down below.
Yeah, I don't really have a link to it. It's like it was just
I'll
a
look
live
around for it.
audience thing they did together
Yeah.
as the characters of Q and Spock.
I'll look around for it. I could probably find it on YouTube and maybe share it out next week.
Yeah.
Hey, Jacob, what type of music do you listen to?
A wide variety.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was specific.
Yeah, I listen to a wide variety, but the main areas would be metal, rock, and like folk music.
Yeah. That's me pretty much. Except I'm not a big metal guy, but I
I've
listened
loved
to
metal
some.
since I was a kid. Plus, metal is the most like the most mythological music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so much literature, mythology, and history in metal. It's like so. But okay, so when I saw this, there was so-called dark matter. I was like, wait a minute. Um, then I found out. So I have no desire to watch this because it's some sort of romance crap. But there was so-called dark matter about I want to say 10 years ago on the Sci-Fi Channel, and it was really good. Especially the first two seasons were really good. Right? Do
Mhm.
you know what Blake Seven is?
No.
Okay, so Blake Seven, they're based on some books. And then they did the an old British. It's probably like if people think of the big science fiction of British TV, Doctor Who number one, then Red Dwarf number two. Blake Seven's at the third thing people are going to think of, right? It ran for
Oh,
four
okay.
seasons. It was a show about a bunch of escaped criminals who become rebels against an authoritarian the Federation, right? And it's very character driven, and fans love it, right? And Dark Matter was kind of the same thing about a bunch of escaped criminals who get hold of a superpowered ship fighting a fascist government. You know, it was like a throwback. If you ever could find it, it's called Dark Matter. The first two seasons are really good. You know, so,
Okay.
and
Cool.
I think that's about it. They're making trash for this trash show is getting a season two. God, I would have to say that season one of Into the Vampire, you know how I would call like Salem's Lot the best adaptation of a book of all time, right? What is the
Hmm.
exact opposite of that? Like worst isn't a bad enough word.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This is an utter complete grape of a novel. Utter and complete, like so atrociously like horrible. Like it wasn't just bad. It was like they deliberately were trying to shit on everything in the novel with this show. So
Yeah, that's a familiar trope.
yeah. Well, that was peak. That was the peak of it. The peak perfection. You know.
Yeah.
And why do they keep saying this? Please don't do a Shogun season two. Please do. Oh God. I mean, I understand why because obviously the story does sort of continue, right? But
Yeah. Well,
whatever.
the actor that plays Toranaga, I heard, has signed on for season two.
Well, he has control of the project, and he's the one who made sure that it was relatively close, even though it slipped a bit from. You know what I mean? Who kept the
Right.
quality in it, like the literally like they wanted like a black samurai and stuff like that. And he was like, no, just no.
Right.
You know. But you know, stop that. Why isn't that stopping? Sorry about that, everyone. That's my phone with an ultra loud setting going on. You know, telling me that there's a Mother's Day sale. I have to buy something for it.
I mean, like it or not, the more seasons there are in a show, the lesser it is each season, with
That's
rare
true to a
exceptions.
very point. I would agree. You know, sometimes shows can get it back, like Supernatural. Like the mid seasons are just kind of okay, but the last couple are really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
um, and like shows like Doctor Who, or Law and Order can change the cast and reinvent themselves, type of thing. You
Yeah.
know, and I admit I would be fascinated if like that period of Japanese history is very interesting. So if they do
Yeah.
continue it, right? You know, with you know Blackthorn / William Adams building the Japanese Navy for Toranaga / Tokugawa Ieyasu, you know, um, I can see what they would go with it, but I don't know. Cavell ended it where he did for a reason, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is officially my longest live stream. Well, no, my longest non-Linux live stream ever. Yeah. Okay, so I keep saying one more article, so I will do one more article and then we'll call it. What site? What site? What site? Random, round and round I go. Where I stop, only I will know. Sci-fi now. Screen rant. There we go.
The only
I
thing that
can't.
takes my internet out is heavy rain.
Yeah, because of the
And it's
satellite.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could shelter the dish from the rain so it doesn't get wet.
Yeah, I've thought about doing that.
Because the wetness would change capacitance and change resistivity and all that, which would alter the signal.
Right.
I mean, that's more information someone probably wants to know. But I wonder if you can put an angle, put a shelter over it, type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. That's basically the show for this week. Thanks to Jacob, we went long, which is
Yeah.
good.
Thanks for
2
having me.
hours. Yeah. Once again, Jacob's channel is Jacob Ironside with his Tuesday every week show with movie reviews, right, and his monthly show all in the mix, right, Saturdays. He's on Roman Empire's stream when Roman's not busy concreting his house over on Thursdays.
Yes.
You do anything else, Jacob? So, Jacob will. I don't know if it'll be every week,
so.
Jacob, but maybe a recurring guest on my stream too. So
Yeah, I know I'll be on Gord's show the next 2 weeks, so it's like this Tuesday I'll be on his show, and then followed by my show, and then next week it'll be my show followed by his show. So.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're done with Shogun, we should get together and talk about the whole show. Maybe me, you, and Shield Wall.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yep. And so what I got going on, my Shogun episode 10 review, 10, right? Yeah, that came out a couple of days ago. Actually, let's live check on it. Let's all together we will learn what Shogun is doing. Stop screen. So this, if I can get the thing to work, share screen. No. So this is my server Unicron, which like you can see here, I just added this episode of Law and Criminal Intent to the database literally this afternoon, right? But I also have it running stuff like keeping track of so I can be logged in on YouTube on my other identity over here. So let's see. So 64 views with 4 comments. I know on my Shogun episode 10 review, I know I got to answer one of those comments because someone didn't like the ending, and I want to talk about with them to the comments. But so my Shogun reviews have been doing pretty good for me,
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing. I watched the 1953 Gregory Peck Horatio Hornblower movie. That's going to be my first Horatio Hornblower review. Probably hope we have that this weekend. Plus, I'll be back. I'm up to season 4, episode 1 of Sharp. So that's the 2 series I'll be doing ongoing, and they're basically movie series. Because after the 1953 movie, then there's the 1990s Horatio Hornblower series, which is a series of movies. So I'll be ongoing with that. That's my ongoing reviews that I'll be doing, basically. In any case, everyone, have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. Keep fighting a good fight. And a final word for you, Jacob?
Nope. Y'all have a good one. Have a good week, everybody.
We are out of here.
Later.